it was a very happy time for me, and it did absorb one's life. They supported you really in whatever you wanted to do academically. And the teachers themselves were all female and all single. I think there might have been one widow, but by the time I left, I think there was one who was married. The other funny thing was that there were just 3 cars in the car park, one of which belonged to the headmistress. I changed direction while I was at school from being not very good academically to actually becoming quite good academically. I think the reason for this was that in the lower 4th I had mastoids, ear operations, which are quite serious and took me out for the whole term, and I didn't sort of catch up then. But when I came back into the upper 4th, I made new friends, and they were better for me, and I played quite a lot of sport and enjoyed that. Well, not really. I suppose my grandmother's was such a long time ago. Difficult to imagine she had been at school. One strange thing was that quite a few of the teachers who she had taught my mother when she went, and I remember we discussed that. None of Mother's teachers taught me. My sister, who's 2 years older than me, didn't go to King Edward's because of the war. In 1943, my parents didn't want her walking across town, understandably. And so we didn't have too much KE at home, I think. I realise now more that Laura really did feel she missed out. She went to Sutton Coldfield High School, but and always felt it wasn't quite at the same level. I think it helped to develop one's personality, and also to believe that one could do what one wanted to do. I was tennis captain, and it was left to me to arrange who played in games when we had our time in the afternoon for sport, and even for matches I was involved in who played. And as business editor of the Phoenix, I contacted local companies and asked them to advertise in our magazine, and this was a commercial thing to get money in as well. So there were strange things to do, but we did those. And of course we had prefects then, and we had quite a lot of responsibilities as prefects, and one just learnt to take them, and I think that's a very useful thing. Well, geography was really my favourite subject, but I think that was very much influenced by the teacher. She was young, she'd just come down from Newnham where she'd read geography, it was it was very exciting to be so close to somebody who had done what I hoped to do. Well, so much had changed. I was rather thrilled to follow in their footsteps. Yes, I'd always wanted to do that, and I was rather pleased when I was asked to shake hands with Miss Major, who had been the headmistress at the time my mother was there. I think I was quite lucky to get in, actually, because 2 years before I changed prep schools, and the one I went to, the second one, was not as good. And maybe I might not have got in, but I remember Mother telling me I'd got a special place, and I can only think that meant that I'd got in despite everything. Well, I think it gave us the ability somehow to apply one's mind. My grandmother read deeply and widely, annotating her books. She wouldn't be allowed to do that, but all down the side little comments about whether she agreed or disagreed. Into her 90s, when she had a housekeeper there who happened to be a Catholic, she would discuss with this woman her faith, things of faith, which was pretty good. And the other thing I always remember is she allowed the other woman, this housekeeper of hers, to win at Scrabble from time to time, because otherwise it would have been rather too bad. Now my mother didn't marry until she was 36, so she had quite a time to establish herself in a sense, and was very involved in the musical life of Birmingham. And got to know Adrian Boltwell, and was indeed a friend of his for life. They were in touch. And then she married a GP, a general practitioner, who was it was a single practice, and that was what it was in those days. They didn't have partners, they were on their own. A lot of responsibility, and she was very good with the people, patients, and that helped, of course. And she was also very good at the sort of practical side of bookkeeping and keeping things going for him, which he needed. I mean, it was a terribly difficult time. They married in 1930, then they had us, and then there was the war in 1939, and we lived in Handsworth, only 2 miles from Birmingham city centre. You know, yes, it was a very, very difficult time, but she helped him through that, and I would say she definitely had a career. It was a family joke that she always won at quizzes at Christmas. She had a good brain. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I really can say I think that King Edward's made me what I am. Things that allowed me to go on as I did, and give me the confidence to go on as I did. Hard work usually pays off, and people skills make life much easier and happier.